It has been a truly bizarre week concerning the Enoch Burke saga that's been ongoing at Wilson's Hospital School for years now. As many of you know, Enoch has taken a stand against transgenderism within that so-called faith school run by the Church of Ireland. And he spent 3 stints in Mountjoy prison as a result of this. Contempt of court, 513 days in total. And this week, he was ordered back into prison again. He didn't show up for a court appearance on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, gardaí were dispatched twice to his house to lift him, take him back to prison, and he wasn't there. He effectively went on the run as a fugitive. The gardaí left his home empty-handed twice. And speculation was rife. Where is he? Where's he gone? Has he claimed sanctuary in the American embassy? Has he left the country? Where is he? Is he in a safe house somewhere in Connemara? No one knew. And many commentators said, well, if you want to arrest him, the most likely place he'll turn up again is outside the gates of the school that he's been standing outside protesting for ages. So maybe the gardaí thought, well, he wouldn't be that daft to go back to the school. But yesterday, that's exactly what he did. Unbelievable. So I've got the video clip. He actually hopped out of his car. I imagine he was driven there and he had a camera person and he filmed a 3-minute statement and he didn't miss and hit the wall. He was talking about the Church of Ireland has failed. The Roman Catholic Church has failed. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah out there. Children are being indoctrinated, and then he disappeared again. He still hasn't been apprehended. And gardaí said he's still subject to an ongoing operation, but he's still free. They seek him here, they seek him there. Those gardaí seek him everywhere. This is madness. But anyway, the headline reads, just before I play you this video, "Wanted Enoch Burke comes out of hiding." It's crazy. Comes out of hiding and goes to Wilson's Hospital School. The sacked school teacher stood outside the gates of the County Westmeath school and made a video which he accused the judge who was ordered his imprisonment of defaming him. The sacked school teacher stood outside the gates of County Westmeath school and made that video. So I'm going to play you the video. And, you know, having seen all of Enoch Burke's videos pretty much, he comes across as particularly exasperated and passionate in this one. It could be the adrenaline, the fact that he could be pinched at any time. And it's also worth noting there's no security guards outside the gates yesterday, as there have been every other time that he's went down there to make a video or to appear at the gates. We've seen foreign security guards, many different ones standing manning the gate, but there was none there yesterday. Maybe they thought, well, we're not needed anymore. We'll just take the day off. But no, that was a big mistake. So let's hear from Enoch outside the gates of his former school, or current school, as far as he's concerned, having a right old pop at everyone that comes under the radar.
And as you know, where I've worked, as I said before, for the past 7 years, since 2018. And you saw that judgment this week from Judge Brian Cregan, jail again for the 4th time. And that judgment, a very serious attack on my character in that judgment. And I would just say, I have served God and this school with a good conscience for the past 7 years. And it's a terrible thing when a judge can stoop to defaming you and slandering you instead of doing justice. He said that I was roaming about this school. A lot of nonsense. I come here, I stand in the corridor, I report for work, I conduct myself with the utmost dignity and respect, and that is the way I've always conducted myself. But back to jail, because I will not succumb to transgender ideology. Back to jail for the 4th time. And
so let me just make it clear also, the way that this is being positioned is by the courts that he's not going back to jail because of his stance on transgender ideology. That's what the courts are saying. They said that he's going back there for contempt of court. He's been ordered to stay away from the school. He's repeatedly ignored that. He's entering the school grounds, which we've seen video footage of him doing that, coming onto the school grounds, bypassing the security. He believes he's still got every right to be in that place. He's done nothing wrong. He hasn't broken any laws. He simply stands by the fact that he will not acknowledge transgender ideology, that school is active in pushing and trying to belong to stamps of approval, which is ludicrous for a so-called faith-based school. That's why I said they're a Christian school with a small c, as far as I'm concerned. So the judge would say that he's not being locked up for his beliefs, that he's being locked up for contempt of court. But of course, Enoch and family believe that he's only being held in contempt of court because he's being stopped from going to his place of work for refusing to accept those ideologies, which is, it's going round and round. Okay, so depending on who you're talking to, that's the reason why he's going back to prison.
This, I suppose, would never have happened if it were not for the failure of the church. This is a Church of Ireland school with a Church of Ireland ethos, bishops sitting on the board of management, and they betrayed me.
Very well said. The church has failed, and failed miserably on this occasion, in my opinion. And he has been betrayed by his own, in inverted commas. But then again, really, whose side are the church on? Whose side of the Church of Ireland on? A so-called faith-based school. So he makes that point very clear. He's been betrayed and failed by the Church of Ireland.
They let me down. When I was hired here, I was hired to uphold that Christian ethos. And when, of course, trouble came then, you would expect them to defend you, to come behind you, to support you, but nothing of the sort.
Nope.
But of course, it's not just this school, and I've always said that, it's every school in this country. And it's not just the Church of Ireland, the Roman Catholic Church, the biggest denomination in the country, with, of course, we know many schools silent. And this month in particular, early this month, there was a particular week, belonged to week, the raising of the transgender pride flag in every school, the morals of Sodom and Gomorrah. Every student told you must celebrate this. And the Catholic Church silent.
It is an absolute disgrace. Let's be honest about it. Let's not pull any punches about it. These so-called faith organizations, the so-called church, the silence is deafening. The silence is deafening. And this is a man, whether you love him or not, whether you believe in his particular faith, ideology, religious beliefs or not, has stood up, if nothing else but for common sense, let alone his faith, and said, I will not participate in this ideology, especially not in a so-called faith-based school where they have bent over backwards to embrace an ideology and pander to belong to get their seal of approval that this school is friendly towards LGBTQIA plus whatever the letters are at this current time. And every pupil should be accepted. Every pupil should be respected. Every pupil should be treated with the same degree of courtesy and respect, no matter what their background is. But there should be no differences made. It's a school. You go there to learn. You go there to supposedly learn and better your education, so it gives you a better start in life. But as many people are realizing now, after a very, very long time, most schools are simply indoctrination centers. The children are not educated there. They are indoctrinated there, as can be seen progressively happening over the last 5 years in particular.
Their boards of management silent, nothing to say. They agree with it. Nothing. Archbishop Eamon Martin, the bishops, the archbishops, nothing to say. So I would simply say to people, as you see me taken away in a prison van for the 4th time, I would say this isn't, thank you very much for the wonderful support and the outpouring of support, I must say, from thousands. But I would say this isn't ultimately about me and my family. It's about you and your family. And I would encourage you, please, to challenge your religious leaders, those people you're trusting in, and they are betraying you. They are allowing your children, presiding over the anti-Christian ideology that every child in this country now is being forced to celebrate and to bow to. I would say today, challenge those people. It's anti-God, it's anti-Christian. We're all going to die. We all have to live for something. Those wonderful rights, the particular right of freedom of conscience and the free profession and practice of religion, that's God-given. It's a wonderful right, it's inalienable, and it's very important that it would continue in this country and not perish from it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a statement from Enoch Burke. What a statement from Enoch Burke. And then it stopped there. I imagine he was hopping back in this transport and then disappeared again. He disappeared again. And he was speaking almost preemptively there, where he spoke about his fourth arrest, being taken for the fourth time. Of course, he hasn't yet been arrested. He's still technically on the run. No one knows where he is. Well, I'd say his family knows where he is, but they're keeping tight-lipped about it. You know, despite his appearance outside the school, it appears he was not intercepted by gardaí. Well, obviously not. Listen to this. A Garda spokesman said said it has no update on the ongoing operation. So what is this? Operation Burke? Has it got a special name? Madness. Gardaí went to his family home twice on Wednesday. He didn't show up for court on Tuesday. They left empty-handed on both occasions. Members of the Burke family refused to divulge his whereabouts. So he's resigned himself to going back to prison. Eventually, will he turn himself in? Will he be apprehended and dragged from a hedge somewhere by guards? Who knows? But this is ongoing. But he's certainly not deviating or wavering from a stance on this, which is ultimately what led him to be incarcerated in the first place. He refuses to back down on this. Justice Cragen described Burke as a baleful and malign presence, an intruder stalking the school, its teachers and its principals, its teachers and its pupils, probably the principals too, one of which has gone. She's up sticks and left, went to another school, been replaced. So anyway, this is the latest in the Burke saga. Let me know what you think. Was he on the button with his assessment? Failures, abject failures and betrayals, silence of the church? Or was he going too far with that one? Tell me below. Will he be caught? Will he turn himself in? Will we ever see him again? Who knows? But anyway, leave a comment, cut and paste the link to this video, share it out there far and wide, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so for now. I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media, over and out.